And we're going to be looking into your vision for the transport sector in Nairobi County. One of the residents of Nairobi County is concerned, actually, about the traffic jams that we witness each and every day if you live in the capital. Esther, what is your plan to end the perennial traffic jam menace, if elected?
Thank you so much. About transport, I would say that if we have proper and efficient transport system that will work, it's good. If I'm elected, I would think of having to refurbish trains, have rails, train bringing people to town. That would decongest the traffic. I'd also have to have a consultation with the Matatu people and see how best we can have the public transport organized. I would also look at having designated lanes on the road where any buses or a car that has more than 3 people can use that lane so that it's more faster to have them.
Your time is up, but are those, I'll add you 30 seconds. Are those not efforts that have been tried before? We've seen that in the capital already. Is there anything that you offer as an alternative for the residents of Nairobi?
If you can ask the question again.
I just want to inform you that those are things that the previous administrations have tried, using trains and also consultations with those who are operating in the public service sector. And of course, you know, is there something that you plan to do that will be different to fix the perennial problem of traffic jams?
It's to encourage people to do carpooling if they are going the same direction. And if we had institutions like schools that are properly equipped and people take their kids to school where they stay, is much better than crossing across to take a child to Nairobi Primary School when they live in Dadora. So I would reinforce that method of having the schools at their ward levels so that we can ease the congestion of traffic.
Your time is up. Esther Waringa, Independent Party. Herman Grewal, what's your approach to traffic snarl-up and the menace in the city?
Okay. So transport is a fairly complex issue. I'll try to speak on it in 1 minute, but generally cannot be resolved in this much time. Once again, we break it down. We have 3 classes of people. We have the lower, middle, and upper class individuals, and each desire a different level of transport solutions. What often happens is, through my researches, I found when international guests come to Nairobi, how many of them are comfortable using a system such as Matatus? How many of them understand how Matatus work? It's not a large percentage. So I reflected on it. I came up with 3 solutions. I hope I have the time to touch on them. Number 1, the solution to traffic is not creating more roads. Because if we look at the history of Kenya, look at Thika Highway, for example, that was the more road solution. What we need is, because of the expanding population in Nairobi, we need to have structured mass transport systems that are of quality. That would fairly reduce transport. If I had a solution for me to come from Westlands to Karen, for example, that's quality public transport, I would use that.
Your time is up, but I add you 30 seconds. Proceed.
All right. I would use that. So we need to have quality mass transport. Something like bringing in double-decker buses into Nairobi would reduce the cost of transport even for the government, for individuals, and achieve the same thing. We can digitize the operation of Matatus. Someone with a smartphone, the driver, I can track his phone. And as a user, I can see how far my Matatu is and how long it will take. I link my account with that Matatu, and then we can also have promotions for students. And lastly, we can also have a digital carpooling system where if I have a saloon car, for example, other people coming to Karen can simply share the cost of transport with me. And now this touches on the different classes we have, that's lower, middle, and upper class.
Your time is up.
All right. We move to you, Nancy Mwadime. Just your strategy of solving the traffic jams in Nairobi County.
Before I would think of solving the issue of the transport, I would start by having everyone in Nairobi be able to access the transport, especially the people with special need. I would want us to introduce buses which are accessible to the person with a wheelchair. He can just driving and lifted to the bus and stay in the wheelchair, and when he gets to his destination, just is walk out, so that we can also protect their dignity. About the issue of the traffic jam, this is something which has always been discussed again and again. And at times I look at it, the people who discuss are not even the people who are using public transport. Because when you put the bus stage so far from town, then we expect people to walk that distance. I find that very unfair. For me, I would say, I would want to come up with a solution before I get the stage out.
Okay.
But,
your time
before
is
I
up.
get to that...
Your time is up. Okay, I add you 30 seconds, but again, clarity.
So before I get to the solution, I would advise that we have buses whereby they come across. For example, if the buses are coming from Global, they come closing over to the other side. We have designated road whereby the vehicles will come and close to the other side without saying that the bus stop or the stage will be at Global, and then people have to walk all the way to town.
Okay.
All right, and just to come to you, Mr. Nyamwamu, as well on the same issue of the perennial traffic jams in this country's capital, what is your solution?
So first, let's expand the use of BRTs in our city, number one. Number two, let's introduce shifts, working shifts. Let people not come at the same time and leave at the same time. Services that don't need people to come to start work at 8, they can have shifts from maybe 11 to, I don't know, add 8 hours to that. But the concept is to have people come to work at different shifts. In essence, there was something that was talked about in 2013 about introducing Nairobi into a 24-hour economy. Let's introduce that 24-hour economy where we can have shifts. Some people come at this time, or that time. Another thing we can do about congestion is to have car holidays, days where, you know, we don't allow private cars or cars of particular whatever to come into the city. Let everybody use the BRTs or whatever public transportation is available to come to the city.
Thank you.
That will help with decongestion.
Your time is up. And I start with Esther Waringa on podium number 1. Your closing remarks, 30 seconds, and kindly adhere to the time.
I would say that the national government funds distribution to be considered, because the county government has more of the functions, yet not enough money to fulfill those functions. And the other thing is that I would say is that I've lost my mind.
Okay, and your time is up.
so much.
That is all I would say, that in partnership with the national government and the county government would really bring a smooth running of this city.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.